So we are going to start with, first of all, the Ace of Cups. So let's go into exactly what the Suit of Cups has to teach us, okay? So if we are thinking in terms of seasons, the Cups element typically represents summer. And then if we are talking about lengths of time that something may happen or occur, we are talking about weeks. Okay, so before, when we were talking about wands, that was the first suit that we talked about. That is a quicker energy. We are talking about days with that energy. With cups, we are considered weeks. Swords is typically associated with the fall and correlates to months, and then pentacles are for years. Okay, if that is something that you want to introduce into your practice with that little time frame, then that's a helpful key for you all to understand. All right, so when we are talking about the Suit of Cups, we are talking about everything related to our intuition, everything that is connected to spirit. The Suit of Cups, we are talking about the water element, and the cup is how we have been able to alchemize understanding, how to contain, how to recognize the different properties and elements of that water suit. And when we speak on the water element, we're talking directly about spirit as well. Water is a portal. Water is highly programmable, and water is what we are mostly made of. Whether you agree with 60 and up percent, we are water. That is why a lot of our emotions are influenced by the moon, and the moon raises the tides. A full moon raises the tides. So we are also affected by the different phases of the moon when it comes to that water element. Okay. So that's a brief introduction into what the Suit of Cups is all about. Water, relationships, love, intuition, spirit, any of those types of connections. Okay. In terms of zodiac signs, astrology, we are associating the Suit of Cups with Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio energy. Those are the water signs of the zodiac. So if you ever want to see a particular sign that comes up, which you will also see in my course, if you want to do something that's a little more self-paced, I go deeper in detail about which zodiac signs are mostly govern the energy of the card that we are discussing. Okay. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get into the first card, which is the Ace of Cups. Okay. So remember from last week, if you were here, the aces are potential. Okay. It is the starting. It is the very beginning of understanding what the Suit of Cups has to teach us. Again, this is not mastery. This is not, I completely understand everything that the Suit of Cups has to teach me in regards to the full journey. This ain't that. This is recognizing that the opportunity and the potential is there to understand it, and everything that the Suit of Cups comes with. Okay. So as you can see here, you have this dove that is giving this wafer, almost like an offering to this cup as it is overflowing with water. Okay. And that alone is a beautiful spiritual aspect of the Suit of Cups, is recognizing the divinity and the sacredness of the water element and everything it has to teach us, and not just taking from it, but also giving and having an offering to show your respect and appreciation for everything that this suit has to teach us, which is the beauty of this dove giving its wafer. Almost looks like, if y'all were in the church, you know those communion wafers and the wine that we used to get on whatever Sunday y'all celebrated communion. That it's very much giving that. It's very much giving, I am the body of Christ. It's very much giving that type of energy here too. Okay. Another thing I want you to point out here is these lilies that are underneath here, or these lily pads. And if you'll notice, even with Blue Lotus energy, you will notice that they tend to grow as some of the most beautiful, intoxicating type plants in the worst conditions. Very much swampy, dirty, still waters is where you will find these energies, and you will understand the significance of that as well as we continue throughout the Suit of Cups, recognizing the beauty that can come out of what we would describe as less than favorable circumstances and situations. Okay. So another thing I want you to know is this overflow of energy that is coming out of this cup. Okay. So as this dove is giving and recognizing that it is going to benefit from the overflow, not simply taking from the cup to the point where it is empty. Okay. So that's another beautiful spiritual message that you can get out of the Suit of Cups. Okay. So that is what I have for the Ace of Cups. Oh, and also notice the overall gray theme that we have here. Very much overcast type energy, which is kind of clear, but it's not giving us a full understanding of what's going on beyond all of those clouds. And that's something that we're going to dive more into as we go through the Suit of Cups. So if there are any questions, I will give like 1 minute for y'all to ask. If not, if I see a bunch of emojis, we are going to move on to the Two of Cups. So are we good on the Ace of Cups or anything that is associated with the Ace of Cups? Are we good on this? Let me know. Drop some emojis in the chat. If we are good, I'm going to move on. Okay. So that was a lot. But we also talked about the encompassing the totality of what the Suit of Cups is along with this actual card itself. So we are good. I am going to move on. And if you don't feel comfortable asking questions, feel free to message me towards the end. I will respond to those messages as I can, or email me if you have any questions about them as well. Okay, so yes, I agree, Candy. It is a beautiful card. So let's move on to the Two of Cups. So in honor of 2-2 being today, and hey Kiki, thank you so much for doing that for me. When we talk about the energy of the number 2, all right, the 2s are about duality and balance. That's usually the first two things that we recognize when we speak of the number 2, okay? So even on this day, maybe even start thinking about some ways that you can incorporate more balance and see the duality in all aspects of your life as well. So this is a very healing card. And the reason why I say that is because you have this Caduceus that is here, okay? This also reminds me of that Kundalini energy that is being brought up here as these serpent energies intertwine up this staff or rod and up to this lion that has the wings here as well. Okay. How I see this lion with wings, it reminds me of Sekhmet's energy. Sekhmet has a modality of healing called Sekhem energy, which is what we utilize in Kemetic Reiki. She is a very healing energy in spirit as much as she is about wrath and anger. She is also very healing, and that's another aspect of duality in this as well. The Kundalini aspect of this is that serpent energy that starts at the base of our root chakra, and as we develop over time in a healthy and safe way, those snakes or that serpent energy starts to intertwine up our spine, which would represent this rod or this staff energy that you see here that links the two energies, and then up out of our crown with those wings that help to represent enlightenment. It helps you to understand more of that crown chakra energy as well. Okay, so what does all of that have to do with this Two of Cups and these two people standing here giving cups to one another, right? This is an exchange of energy. Okay, this is an exchange of love, of passion, of anything that is associated with this cup's energy, spirituality, intuition, and seeing it being very balanced. One is not reaching out more than the other one is. And both cups look exactly the same. So when we talk about relationships with other people, which is usually where I see this energy come up with the Suit of Cups, we are talking about making sure that the relationships that we nurture and entertain are giving to us as much as we are giving and pouring out to others. Okay. So when you see this energy, it is a reminder to make sure that you are not giving more than you take and that you don't take more than you give. Okay. And I think this is a beautiful continuation of this Ace of Cups energy, because remember, this dove is giving this sacrifice to this wafer to partake in the knowledge and wisdom that this cup has to give, the nourishment that it has to give, without taking more from it than it is able to produce for itself. And that continues on here with the Two of Cups. It is no different. Okay, so if you find yourself in situations where you are giving and giving and giving and that energy is not being reciprocated to you, then most times you will receive this Two of Cups in your reading, and probably in reverse to let you know that there's a bit of an off balance when it comes to that energy as well. The overcast is gone from this Two of Cups. So we've moved on from a lack of clarity to more of an understanding of why it is important to have this type of energy and relationships around you. And then you also have this home that is here in the background with these rolling hills that shows your proximity to your home, your proximity to self in this energy as well, and why it's important for you. Okay. A lot of times for people who have a hard time setting boundaries, you will also see this card in your reading, because you are allowing people to take and take and take and take from your energy, and you're not receiving in return. You're not pouring into yourself in return. Okay. So that is the concept of balance and duality, and how this symbiotic relationship is ultimately healing for both parties involved. Okay. So are we good on the Two of Cups? Remember, I love looking at the overall energy of this card. They're standing on this yellow energy, which very much reminds me of solar plexus energy. Thank you for the gift. Which reminds me of solar plexus energy. That is our action. That is our will. It's what we do. And we do this with respect to what we're giving and what we're taking from one another. Okay. So we're good on the Two of Cups. I am going to move on to the beautiful energy associated with the Three of Cups. So I think we're good. All right, moving on. So we are going to move on from this energy of duality and balance and understanding the healing energy that is behind this Two of Cups. And now we are at a point of celebration. Okay. This is that beautiful energy of the Three of Cups. When we talk about threes in numerology, this often talks about the ascended masters. Jesus Christ would be considered an ascended master. The archangels would be considered ascended masters, and so forth. Buddha and so forth, right? This is also about, the number 3 is also about community and support. Okay. So you can pretty much see yourself as any one of these 3 energies that we have here in this card. Okay. You can either be an energy that represents divine protection and divine and purity and cleanliness and being close to God with this white color that is on here. You could see it as being very rooted and grounded and having your own ambition and personal power with this red. Or you could see it as this beautiful yellow energy, something that's bright and shiny and very much connected to that sun energy, and very much an ego, but in a good way. Okay. Ego can be a good thing. It's not always bad like we often associate with ego. All right. Also pay attention to the fruit and the pumpkins that are down here. Anytime that you see an abundance of vegetation or fruit or anything of the sort, this connects you to your abundance and prosperity. Okay. Oftentimes in certain practices, when you give fruit, it symbolizes that connection to your abundance and your prosperous energy as well. Okay. These 3 cups are being raised in the air. Everybody's partying and dancing and having a good time. Very much standing on that solar plexus energy of our action and our will and our ability to do and stand on it and be confident in it. Right? Overall clarity with this blue theme that we have here as well. There is an equal exchange of energy also when it comes to this 3 of cups. Okay. So everybody is benefiting from this situation. When it comes to readings, usually when I pull this card, there is a connection to celebrating. There's a celebration that is happening. Okay. It's a celebration that celebrates how far you have come in understanding the importance of this energy and the importance of the Ace of Cups. Okay. Remember, tarot is a story. The Fool's Journey is a story, and that continues to develop as we go throughout the suits. Okay. So, even sometimes when your ancestors are celebrating with you, you will pull the 3 of Cups. Or if maybe you're taking life too seriously and your spirits want you to relax a little bit and let go and have fun and enjoy yourself, that would also be a time that you would see this 3 of Cups energy. So overall, this energy is very celebratory. It's giving you a chance to rejoice in how far you have come, and even in your spiritual journey as well. Okay. even towards the beginning of understanding what our spiritual journey looks like and understanding the importance of duality in the realm that we are in right now in this human experience, it's often very blissful when we start along this journey. And then coming to with that community and that support that number 3 resonates with is also an opportunity for your ancestors to also rejoice for you in your spiritual awakening or in your spiritual experience. It's a very happy, joyous, beautiful, celebratory occasion when it comes to the 3 of Cups. Pretty simple. All right. So good on the 3 of Cups. This is going to be a quick class because I feel like y'all get it, y'all understand it, and we're just going to keep on moving forward. But again, don't hesitate to ask questions. Questions are fine. All right. So if we are good on the 3 of Cups, I'm going to move on to the 4 of Cups. So we good? I like participation. I like interaction. It lets me know that y'all ain't just staring at me. So we can move on and we can go forward. So we're good on this. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on. So we have come out of this celebratory, rejoicing type energy of the 3 of Cups. And now we're kind of like in this phase where, you know, this is great and everything, but something's missing. Something's just not given anymore. Something feels like I'm out of place, or what I used to want, I don't really care for anymore. And it was nice while it served me, but I feel like there's something more. And that is the energy that we usually tap into when the 4 of Cups comes around, okay? This also is reminiscent of being in a state of meditation like Buddha was when Buddha used to meditate under the tree, okay? This is a place, and it is kind of elevated as well. So it helps you see right now, as you can see this guy that's sitting under this tree, his arms are crossed around his heart center, which is what resonates highly with the suit of Cups. You're closed off to your heart and what your heart wants. And you're just in this posture where you're pretty much closed off and closing off your energy to really being in a more receptive space so you can understand what it is, what you truly want for yourself. Okay, so you have these 3 cups that were sitting here, right? And maybe it's the same 3 cups that you just came from with the 3 of Cups energy that we just transitioned from. Maybe this ain't what you want no more. Maybe this isn't fulfilling you anymore. And maybe you want to explore a different route. Whatever that comes to, it ties back into what you yourself really want. And understanding that Spirit's only giving you what you asked for. It worked 3 times before. Why isn't it working now? The universe does not give you what you asked for. It gives you what you are. So if this no longer aligns with you, don't be surprised if you keep getting these types of energies and now you're looking all around like, well, nobody's, because you don't really know or understand what you want for yourself. So the first question I always ask when I receive this energy in a reading is, what do you want? What is it that you truly want for yourself? And the reason you are uncomfortable right now is because you are continuing to get what you've always gotten, but it's not serving you anymore. Oftentimes when you're feeling stuck or you're feeling like things aren't moving, it's a time for you to get under this tree and get grounded and really truly understand what it is that you want for yourself and what direction you are planning to move towards to make it happen as well. Okay? Excuse me. So 4 of Cups, the first question you always want to ask yourself or the person that you are that you are reading at that point of time is, what is it that you truly want? Okay, so that is the 4 of Cups energy. Are there any questions before we move on to the card people typically don't like seeing in readings? However, it still has a pretty positive outcome, depending on how you look at it, okay? So if we are good on the 4 of Cups, we are going to move on. So remember, this 4 of Cups is about asking us what we truly want, receiving what used to work and no longer aligning with this, and then getting in this meditative posture, being with self to really truly understand what it is that you want. And now we're here. How did we get from this beautiful overflow of energy to being in a situation where what I'm getting is also what I'm receiving in return, to celebrating. Now we're at this point where you asking me what I want, and now I am here. How did we get here? Okay. Bergie Berg, the best ways for grounding the purpose of it is to get to a place where you are more aware of your current and your surroundings. Connecting to earth energy is a great way to do that. Taking walks outside, sitting in the grass. And remember, the purpose of grounding is to make you more aware of the present and to bring you to the present. Okay. I can talk more about that towards the end of class. If you stick around, please ask me again, because I would love to go deeper in detail about that as well. Okay. But that's a great question. So we are here. Okay. Now there's a couple of things that I want you to know. What we have here is this energy, and he's in black. And usually when we're in black, we're closed off. We don't want to be seen. We want to minimize ourselves when we see this energy that is here in black. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves like we did before with all this beautiful, colorful energy that we had here. This is a color of grief when it comes to this energy in this card. Okay. Black is also a very protective color. Okay. So if you are someone who often wears black, make sure you set your intentions for black to be a protective energy rather than being an energy because remember, black absorbs every color, right? So the same way it absorbs those colors is the same way black tends to attract and absorb energy. So be sure that if black is your color, that you are setting the energy for it to be protective rather than absorbing too much of everybody else's energy. Okay. All right, so when we talk about the 5 of Cups, what he is looking at here is these 3 cups that are spilled over, okay? So these 2 cups here are spilling blood, okay? And you have one that has spilled water. That blood represents our life force, our life energy, and then that water itself represents our connection to spirit, okay? Oftentimes that gets overlooked. People don't see this red and this water that's being spilled out here, but that is exactly what it means. Okay. So he is grieving something. Oftentimes when I receive this card in a reading, it is literally someone grieving, could be past relationships. It can also be grieving people who have transitioned, past loved ones, and even grieving things that we really wanted for ourselves that just did end up not really working out the way that we wanted it to. Okay. But there is a beautiful energy associated with this card as well. Okay. So again, notice this overcast. Things aren't necessarily very clear. Thank you for the gift. Things aren't very clear to this energy right now. His head is hung and he's looking in the direction of these 3 cups. However, there are 2 cups that are still standing behind him. And he is so stricken with his grief and the things that he has lost that he does not even see the beauty in what's standing behind him. Even notice the posture of these cups as well. It's giving this energy of, I got your back. Like, even if you can't see me right now, with these cups holding this water, or even one water, one blood, this can be your energy of your ancestors and your spirit guides saying, you may not be able to see and feel me right now, but I'm here and I'm present. And so if you receive that energy in a card, if you receive this card in a reading for somebody, it's more than just stating the obvious. They know they've lost something. They're looking at it. But what they may not know at the time is knowing that in those moments that they have lost things or feel like they have lost more than what they can potentially gain for themselves, that they still have, they're still here and they're still supported. And that's how you turn that. That's how you provide that sense of hope and encouragement for your client or even for yourself, is to always give an encouraging word and not just leave them in this energy. You're telling them what they already know. They don't know that that there's energies around them that are still there to support them. Okay. There's another thing that is connected. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with this card because it's important right now. Okay. When it comes to this energy, oftentimes, if you think about the frequency table and you look at how each emotion on the frequency table, if you pull up one, the lower frequencies, grief is one of the lowest vibrational frequencies there are. Okay. And when we are connecting with spirit, sometimes our vibrations and that frequency is so low that it's hard for our ancestors and spirits to connect with us because we're not vibing on a frequency that helps us to see and hear them clearly. So oftentimes, even when you're doing mediumship readings for people, if they are so grief stricken and sad and angry and disappointed, that frequency is too low for those higher vibing frequencies, like your ancestors who mean you well, like your spirit guides, even though they are there, right? It's hard for you to see them because your focus is on what you've lost. Okay. There is another beautiful energy with this card, is this flowing river that we have here. It's not a pond. Ponds are stagnant energy. Ponds only retain what's in them and can only retain what's in them and only fill up to the capacity that it holds. You never step in the same river twice, ever. So this energy is still flowing. So your spirit, your connection with your intuition and your spirit, that water energy that is within us is still flowing. And the beauty of it is that this is in front of him. So if he just tilts his head just a little bit, I'm sure he can hear the sounds of this river that lets him know his spirit is still there and lively and flowing within him. It's here, okay? Also notice this bridge. This bridge connects you from one place to another. So if when he is ready to get out of this energy, he can take this bridge over to this home, to this building, to this structure, wherever it is, and keep going. Okay? That's the beauty of the Five of Cups. It's a tarot. Sometimes we can see it as a card that we don't want to see in a reading because it gives us this awful, oh my God, I'm grieving. It gives that energy. However, your focus is on what you still have. What you have and what you know you have. And we've got to process this. We've got to understand this. We can't just skip over it. We can't just suppress it. We have to sit in it. We have to sit in that grief and let grief do its job so that we can heal from this, pick up these two cups with us, and carry on with this bridge that is leading us over this river to the next part of our journey. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with being in this energy. If anything, it's a blessing and an opportunity for you to feel it so you can process it and move on. Okay? Sometimes one may feel defeated around this energy. However, when it comes to the Suit of Cups, it feels more like grief. There is more of an emotional pull. So what is the defeat? Why are you feeling the defeat? What is the emotional, what is the spiritual pull of that defeat that's causing you to feel this way? Okay, so we're going a layer deeper than just mentally being defeated, if that makes sense. Okay. There's way more than 5 frequencies. There's like eons of frequencies. However, if you're referring to those lower vibrational frequencies, some of the lower ones are grief, sadness, even desire is a low vibrational frequency. This is something that I'll have to Google it and see if I can find a picture of it and share it to you guys. But and then surprisingly, anger. Anger is a higher vibrational frequency than feeling even desire and sadness and grief. Okay. So I spent a lot of time on this card, but it's important. And I feel like it's important for the energy of what's going on currently for y'all to really understand this card. So if we are good, I'm going to move on to that beautiful, beautiful energy of the 6 of Cups. So if we're good, drop those emojis. Let me know you're still here. And we will move on. I'm going to get some water for a second. All right. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. So, excuse me. So moving on from this stage of grief, of feeling like we've lost something, we are moving on towards the 6 of Cups. Okay. So another beautiful energy to receive in a reading, especially after we've spent so much time here. Okay. We're moving forth, we're moving on, and you may even consider this castle to be part of the energy that is continuing within the Six of Cups. Okay, so as you can see here, there is probably like a 10, 11, 12-year-old boy with a much younger girl that's here. And then I want you to notice this guy that's here in the back. Okay, hang on to that. We're going to get to him. Okay, the Six of Cups, the cups in this card is one of the only card that shows you that there is something that is contained in it. Thank you for the gift. I appreciate it. All right. We have beautiful flowers here. Flowers are very much a higher vibrational energy, have a higher vibrational energy that helps to raise the energy of your home. If you are someone who brings in live plants or flowers into your home, thank you so much. Those flowers, that live energy helps to brighten the energy of a space, which is beautiful, right? So what you have here kind of looks like maybe a marketplace or like a place where people in the community would like gather to sell things. That's what I think of when I see the Six of Cups, okay? So you have this person, and he's giving these flowers to this younger energy that is here. Anytime I see the Six of Cups, it reminds me of nostalgia, okay? It reminds me of connecting to the things that have happened in our past, maybe even past principles that we have, that we grew up on, remembering that foundational energy that we grew up on, maybe the things that our mothers or our grandmothers or whoever raised us on. Maybe it's that connection of the Bible to make sure that we maintain our faith, whether or not you're still Christian or are Christian, or you get what I'm saying? Like, it's an opportunity to remind you where you came from so you can remember where you're going. So you know where you're going, and you can stand on that foundation to keep you grounded as you continue along your journey. Okay, very beautiful energy to receive in a reading. So if you receive something like a farmer's market, if you receive something that is, if you receive this card in a reading, this is like a reminder and a nudge from your ancestors or spirit guides to go back to what your foundation is and what you grew up standing on. Okay, whether that's keeping family first, or making sure you're taking care of yourself, taking care of family, whatever that connection is for you, whatever your life motto is from your family is what spirit is calling you to, okay? And if you don't necessarily know or understand what that is, then it's an opportunity for you to establish what that is for yourself, okay? So this young man that's here in the back of the photo, I would argue that he may even be connected to these energies that are here. Okay. And notice how everything is so bright and yellow in this card and this energy. And his path is very much, maybe very black and white, right? Maybe we're seeing things too black and white. Maybe we're seeing things too structured, too not giving it room to flourish and grow like the rest of this card. And it's time for us to walk away from seeing things in such a distinct way and open up our opportunities to apply the things that we have learned in our past to where we're going in our future. And maybe that's something he is walking away from for sure. Okay. So that is the energy of the Six of Cups. Yeah, it does kind of remind me of the Four of Wands energy for sure. This card and the Sun card are children. Yes, they are. All right. So remember, this Six of Cups energy is about nostalgia, maybe even giving your gifts that are coming from your ancestors and spirit guides to kind of like nudge you to remind you, hey, remember what I taught you. Right. Very much nostalgia, going back to childhood memories. In some instances, depending on the cards that are surrounding this in your spread or in your reading, this can also, on the other side, remember duality is important in these cards and in life in general. Maybe there's something from back there, especially if you see it with the moon, that you need to address at that time, right? Remember, the moon is about illusions, things that are hidden. And then you also have this energy of nostalgia and bringing up childhood memories as well. That may be a connection where spirit is really leaning you towards doing a bit more shadow work. Okay. So that is the Six of Cups. Questions. If not, y'all know, drop some emojis, let me know, and we will move on to the Seven of Cups. All right, moving on. So we are moving past this energy of nostalgia and remembering, bringing up things from the past or even childhood memories, to now being presented with a lot of choices and options here, okay? So there's a bit of a confusing energy or conflicting energy around this Seven of Cups energy for sure. But I'm going to give you a chance to see some different perspectives, and then you apply the ones that resonate the most for you in your practice, okay? So what you have here, I want you to notice that throughout tarot, most of the times we are seeing energies in their fullness, right? We are seeing them in full color. We're seeing them fully displayed, right? But in this one, he's in the shadows, okay? And some texts describe the significance of him being in shadows is to insert self here, okay? So having no respect of persons or no ties to a specific type of energy, it's like anybody can get it when it comes to this energy, okay? So Seven of Cups is all about having choices as much as it is about being distracted, okay? So remember that energy of the Lovers talks about choices as well, as we discussed a few weeks ago. This one has a lot of resemblance to distractions that keep us away from the lessons that the Suit of Cups has to teach us, okay? Some people even correlate the energies that are within the Seven Cups that we see here as being connected to the 7 deadly sins. Okay. And that's something I want you to look for on your own as well. But some of them would be things like money and greed, to being so concerned about winning. Remember, this laurel wreath is about victory and being very much the death of you, being you concerned too much with winning and being in the spotlight that you don't remember the importance of everything behind it, if that makes sense. Beauty, for instance, and so forth. Okay. So this cloud that we see here, think of the cartoons that we used to watch back in the day, or maybe they still do this. I don't know. I don't really watch many cartoons unless it's anime, but these clouds usually typically come up to resemble a thought. Okay. So think of a cartoon that you may have watched and you see the dots, and then there's a cloud that comes above and they're telling you what the person may be thinking. Okay. So this also corresponds to some things that may be in your mental at this time that may be more appealing to you, that aren't really grounded in your principles and in who you grew up to be and what you are to become as you continue along your fool's journey. Okay. A lot of these things are going to come around to tempt you, to take you off course, to distract you from your purpose, to distract you from what your spirit knows, to distract you from your intuition, to distract you from the things that resonate deep within your spirit. And this is a reminder for you to stay grounded and to understand that these distractions will come and go. A thought is a thought. It is what it is. We can't necessarily control every single thing that comes in our head, but we can control how we respond to it, right? So there's also a lot of blue and clarity in this as well. So as soon as these clouds are released from his energy, as these clouds of thought that are distractions from his energy are released, I'm clear again. It's here in the back. Okay. So the Seven of Cups has a lot to do with controlling your distractions and understanding what is a distraction, right? Sometimes we may not know. So this is a call for you to do some meditation, to do some grounding work again, and understanding what's a distraction and what's really meant for me. Okay. So Seven of Cups overall is an energy that talks about distractions and choosing wisely and choosing in accordance with your spirit, your purpose, your intuition, and listening more to that instead of being so heavily influenced by the thoughts that could simply come and go. At the end of the day, when all of this is gone, what does your spirit tell you? What does your intuition tell you? All right. That's the Seven of Cups. I'm trying to think, is there's anything else I want to talk about with this, but I think we pretty much covered it. Lots of daydreaming. Yeah, daydreaming that is, again, for lack of better terms, that is distracting. That takes you away from your purpose. It's like, remember why you're here. And that's another aspect to the shadow. Right? For sure. So there's a couple of ways that you can do yes or no readings, but if you're talking specifically about the energy of the card, I would probably associate this with the no, because of this overall energy that is very much distracting. So whatever you're asking about, maybe that thing is not in alignment with what your purpose or your calling or a favorable circumstance for yourself. So if you're going based off the energy of the card to determine whether or not it's a yes or no, for the card alone, I would associate that with a no for me. Okay. Some people do, you can use, it depends on you and your practice, but some people see if a card comes up upright, then it means a yes, regardless of what the meaning of the card is. Or if it's in the reverse, it means a no. If it's a court card, it means a yes. If it's a major arcana card, it's a no. Make it fit to your practice. I like to use the energy of the card to tell me whether or not it's a yes or no for me. But do what works for you. If it's more simple for you to just say, if a minor arcana comes up when I ask this card, then it will be yes. If it's a major arcana card that comes up, then it will be a no. Make it simple and make it practical for you to understand for yourself, okay? You don't have to believe in it, but you also don't have to be here. That's simple. Okay. Definitely could be illusions for sure. Maybe things that we think are in alignment with us lead us more towards this energy that is distracting us. And it may be a time for you to refocus. If that makes sense. All right. So that is the Seven of Cups. Remember, your key word whenever you see the Seven of Cups is what is distracting me? What is looking more appealing than it really is? You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Nisi said, keep going. So I'm going to keep going. All right. So we're going to move on to the Eight of Cups. So when we talk about the Eight of Cups, remember we are moving from this energy of seeing what's a distraction to us, what serves us and what doesn't. Maybe even in that energy of assessing what that is as well. And now it's time for us to move on. Okay. So when it comes to this energy, you have the moon here in two different phases. It looks like a waxing or a waning moon along with this full moon that is up here as well. Okay. Thank you guys. So one thing that I want you to note, yes, walking away from what no longer serves you. And I want you to note the positioning of these cups. Okay. So it almost looks like one is missing here to some extent. And maybe it's because you see how ever so conveniently this person who is walking away is placed at this position that looks like a cup is missing. It's time for him to walk away from what doesn't serve him anymore. However, it's more than just walking away from it. It's learning the lessons that it taught you before you move away. Why is that important? Because these cups aren't just tossed to the side like a college party where they're thrown all over the place, right? They're ever so neatly stacked in a very ordinate way that can even be a sign for the next person that comes along this journey to see the significance of these cups by decorating them in a way that attracts you to them and makes you curious as to what these energies could represent. Okay. So yes, walking away from what no longer serves you, but also respecting the aspects of yourself that led you to this point to walk away from it. Does that make sense? So you're also walking away from it, but also notice how shallow the water is in this instance as well. And we wouldn't necessarily associate shallow waters with a full moon. Doesn't quite make sense. Usually when the full moon comes around, the tides are much higher because it's pulling that water up towards the moon. That's what's going on. However, in this instance, in this situation, Spirit is calling you to move towards higher ground. Notice how she's got this walking stick, or he, whoever it is, has this walking stick. And we typically use those walking sticks when we're hiking, like in the Hermit. Hermit had a walking stick with him too, or a staff. It's using him to help gain his ground and stability as he is trekking towards higher ground. Higher evolution, elevation, in this instance, in this energy as well. Okay. Higher vibrations, definitely, for sure. Okay. But it's also, you know how some people say, when you talk about past versions of yourself, people tend to talk about them in a negative way. Well, I would have never done, and I'm ashamed of who I used to be. This is not that energy. This is telling you, hey, there's an instance where I was in that moment. I did the best with what I could, what I had, and what I knew. And I honor that part of me, because had I not gone through that, had I not seen and understood the energy around why everything happened the way it did, there's no way I could continue to move forward from that. And I thank that version of me that got me through that phase of my life. And I recognize that, as you can see with these 8 cups that are stacked here. But it's time for me, and it is time for me to move on. I appreciate her or him. I appreciate what it's done for me and what I learned from those situations. But I must continue to move forward, because we are not through with the Suit of Cups. It continues. Okay. Notice this red and yellow that they are in. That red being surrounded and grounded with that root chakra energy, but also your ambition and personal power, for sure. Underneath your action and your will, with that yellow that you are wearing that associates with your solar plexus energy. Okay. So that is the 8 of Cups, a very beautiful energy. Remember, yes, it's walking away from things that don't serve you, but it's also respecting every part of you that evolved from what it was to who you are now. All right. Questions about the 8 of Cups? Okay, I'm moving on to the 9 of Cups. All right. Just like this energy is. Thank you for learning everything that I needed to know at that point in time. But now I'm going to move on. Now I'm going somewhere else. Now I'm going with this 9 of Cups energy. Okay. All right. Yeah, exactly. So for this 9 of Cups energy, this is someone who is very proud of the products that he has made. It's like going to a farmer's market or something where they are showing you what they have created. And the reason why they're so proud of it, look at how beautifully they're arranged. He's showing you, like, I'm very proud of it and I'm going to stand on business. Look at how beautiful this is. And remember, we are talking about the number 9, and 9s, we're in a 9 year right now. A lot about fulfillment in this energy as well. Even though we're not completely there, the cups are falling into place. Okay? Because we still got the 10 of Cups and the Court cards to go through. However, we have learned a lot about our journey up to this point. We've taken the golden nuggets from each part of it and understood how it relates to us as a spirit, right? And we are very proud of how far we have come. And we respect that energy that is associated with it, okay? So the 9 of Cups, he's also someone who is a scholar, someone who has learned a lot, hence the hat that he wears on his head. If you'll note throughout tarot, most times when you see energies that have this type of hat associated with them, they are someone that has a lot of intellect, someone who is smart, someone who has learned a lot. And we didn't see that anywhere throughout the Suit of Cups until we got here, right? So this is someone who knows a lot about the energy now of the Suit of Cups and shows you exactly what he knows. It's almost like a trophy case of sorts. It's like, look at all that I've accomplished up to this point. Whole lot of yellow, again, representative of that solar plexus type energy for sure, okay? I don't know for sure if I don't think that's a feather at all. I'm not quite sure. I'll do some research on that. I just think it's more material from his hat, okay? And that links to a scholarly type energy for sure. Overall, with this yellow energy, it's very much being self-confident in how far you have come. Remember, again, I like connecting these colors to the chakra centers and the energies that they represent, and just feeling very happy for how far you've come. Also, pay attention to where he's sitting. This is not somewhere to stay. This is a place of this is a temporary checkpoint, okay? This is a place that it's like having a park bench. It's somewhere for you to sit for a minute, recollect your thoughts, see how far you've come, show appreciation for yourself, but it is not somewhere to sit because we still got work to do. All right? We ain't here. And I'm pointing out the Emperor because he's the first one that I'm looking at, right? You see how he's pretty much mastered this Emperor energy, and he's got the throne associated with it, like his domain. You ain't quite there yet, but it's a beautiful thing when this card comes up to let you know that you're doing well. It's okay to stop and breathe and be in the moment, and we still got more work to do, okay? That is the beauty, like the Six of Wands. That is the beauty of the Nine of Cups, okay? So this curtain, to me, this looks like a very large table, okay? And this blue element, again, connects us to that water element. Very much reminds me of water itself, which is connected to our intuition. Even this light blue reminds me of the throat chakra for sure. So effective communication of spirit between what you receive from spirit and how it comes out through your voice, through your speech. I feel like that is the appropriate description of this tablecloth that we have here that is holding these cups, sorry. All right. So we good? So this is a card of spiritual fulfillment up to this point. It's a card to remind us that we have come a long way and we still have quite a bit to go. All right. So a card that I love to see is the Ten of Cups. I love this card. Probably one of my favorites in the minor arcana for sure. Okay. So Ten of Cups. So you see this beautiful, beautiful family that is celebrating with these cups arranged in this rainbow. They're standing in joy with that on that yellow type energy. They're in all this beautiful color. The parents are holding their hands out like, look at this beautiful life that we have created for ourselves with this flowing river of this intuition and our spiritual connection that continues to flow and leads to their home. Okay. This is a card that has a lot of energy of a family connection, a happy family. That is very much spiritually grounded and connected with one another. That is the beauty of the Ten of Cups. Remember, rainbows come after the rain, after the water element. And it is a beautiful display of how loving that the universe can be for us after we have gone through moments of grief from the Five of Cups to being uncertain about who we are. I'm sorry, y'all, 1 second. To those moments of uncertainty, the moments that we were unsure about in the Four of Cups, to analyzing what's the distraction and what's really meant for us in the Seven of Cups, to being emotionally fulfilled and spiritually fulfilled and understanding it in the Nine of Cups, right? And now that all that rain that has come down has nourished us to this point. And it has brought us together as a family, okay? The children are beautifully celebrating this energy. Everybody's dancing. It is a beautiful energy to receive in a card, okay? So I like the blue and the red that is here too, because it also represents that element of duality that we talk about in the Suit of Cups, okay? So whenever I see this blue and red, it lets you know that as much as you are cloaked, and even with this woman, right? Women are typically associated with that feminine energy. And I'm not correlating this specifically to cisgender women, but this feminine aspect that is being shown in this card connects us to our intuition, right? Which is and our spirituality, which is in itself a feminine aspect of us, okay? And then you have this man who is also grounded and rooted in his spirituality, but as much of that, we see that personal power and ambition that we associate with that masculine energy. So it's very much both, but it's showing which one is more prominent and which energy that shows up here as well. Does that make sense? This is definitely more of a spiritual fulfillment. I want to compare this to the Ten of Pentacles here too, okay? Oftentimes people get those two cards confused, and I'm going to give you a brief description of the differences between the two, okay? I see this as, what family can I compare it to? I'll just keep it simple. Yeah, your ancestral connection for sure, your own family, being bound by your spirit, your intuition, things of that nature, right? This is more secular in nature. This is more like getting to a point of generational wealth. It is a rich type energy, and it is shown all over them with this energy of the Ten of Pentacles, okay? So this is typically what I would associate with things like generational wealth. You see even a family crest that is here. This is a wealthy family associated with the Pentacle suit, which we will talk about in a couple of weeks. However, just for like a preview of this energy, the Cups element, the Pentacles element is connected to things that are tangible, right? Things that we, our currency, wealth, money, right? That is usually, and behavior also. That is what we associate with the Ten of Pentacles. With the Ten of Cups, this is so much deeper than what is displayed on the outside, okay? This is more of a beautiful connection with a spiritual aspect to it as well, and definitely a connection with your ancestors for sure, okay? So that is the Ten of Cups. If we are good on 1 through 10, that is a beautiful way to describe it. Energy versus connection. I like that. We are going to move on to the, oh yeah, we made it card. We're going to move on to the Court cards, okay? And again, I'm going to apply the same philosophy that we applied last week with the Suit of Wands, and we are going to go into the Court cards, okay? Same philosophy as last week, except we're just moving it into the Suit of Wands, okay? So if you remember from last week, the Page element, I like to connect all of these to the different elements of the universe, okay? Earth, air, fire, water, all right? So the Page is connected to earth energy, all right? Knight, air. Queen, water. King, fire. One more time. King, fire. Page, I'm mixing it up. Earth. Knight, air. Queen, water. Okay? Now remember, the entirety of the Suit of Cups is the water element. All right? Don't pick on how I say water. I'm country. All right? So moving to the Page of Cups. Remember that earth element. When we are speaking on earth, we're learning about ways to tangibly understand the elements itself, okay? So the Page can be a messenger of sorts, delivering a message of spiritual or intuitive type ways. It could be an ancestor delivering a message to you. It can be that. And just as you can see this fish poking out of this cup, there's a bit of an element of surprise, of wondering, one, how you got there, and two, what all of this means. So when we're talking about the Page and that earth element, we are learning, okay? We're learning. We're trying to understand. We are learning to understand what this Cups element has to tell us, Okay. So whether it's a messenger, it all depends on what you're asking in your tarot reading and your, it depends on what you're asking. It depends on what your intentions are when you see this card come up, or any of the court cards, okay? Physically speaking, this can be someone who is a child, okay? Someone who is between the ages, I would say less than a teenager. So, or someone who is that immature in their thinking about this suit and what it has to offer us, okay? So it's a very immature energy when we think about the Page of Cups, because they're learning. Think of how children ask a million questions. Why does this work like that? Why did you do that? Why are you doing it this way? Why does this have to look like this? This is a time just like a child asking a million questions that you get tired of answering because the child truly wants to know. Okay? And notice how they're very pink and blue, very muted versions of that red and blue that we saw earlier in the suit of cups. Oh, Mahogany Tarot's here. I don't mean to shout you out, but honey, I'm using your cards, okay? Y'all, please give her a follow. I love her so much. Hopefully she's still here. But if you see me teaching or doing your readings, I am using her deck. And I have 2 of them, okay? So it's all her. So thank you. I'm so glad you're here. I normally don't do that with people who just pop in because it's like intrusive, but I got to shout you out, okay? So again, that is the energy of the Page of Cups. Okay, sorry, y'all. I fanned out a little bit. All right. Hello, it's so good to have you here. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see you here. Okay, so that's the Page of Cups energy. All right. So remember, pages are connected to that earth element, and we are learning. Okay. So if it's not a messenger or dealing with the energy of giving you a message that has an intuitive or a spiritual influence, sometimes it's a message from your dreams. And this can symbolize inner child coming up as well. Okay. Very much inner child energy. Usually when I see this, it may come up that inner child is trying to come out and really make you understand or see things from that perspective as well. All right. So remember, Earth of Water. That's how I want you to see this card. Learning about the water element and everything it entails. Okay. So we're moving out of this curious type energy of the Page of Cups and trying to understand what it all means, to now putting it in action, but putting it in action to a point where it's very immature in our way of utilizing it. Okay. Remember, the Knight is air of cups. Okay. Air kind of just blows wherever it wants to go with no specific direction or anything in mind. Okay. If we are physically talking about a person, this could be someone who is a teenager to the early 20s age. And remember, when we were teenagers, we thought we knew everything. Okay. This is that Knight of Cups energy. It's movement, but it's movement in a way where we think we know everything there is to know. But the beauty in that also is that we're actually taking steps forward to try and apply it. It's like that trial and error phase of understanding what the cups element has to teach us. We can't just sit and read books all day about it. We have to apply it in some way or another. And that is the difference between the cup and the king, right? And we'll get to him in a minute. But this is just us applying it and seeing how it works for us. Okay? So think about that teenage energy of us thinking we know everything and just doing everything because we're so focused on self. We don't really see the full scope of consequences or how that energy plays out or how that energy will play out in the long run, right? That is what this energy is all about. Remember, air of water. We're moving it, okay? So, moving on from that, now we are at this point where we're nurturing what we have learned. Hence the Queen of Cups, the ultimate water energy. Why did I say that? Because the Queen is connected to water and so is Cups. Very, very divine feminine energy. Usually in a reading, if you connect this to an ancestor, it would be someone that's like that big mama stereotype or archetype, like from Soul Food, like Big Mama from Soul Food. You could also associate this with someone who is very spiritual in their nature. Someone who was like that oracle in your family, someone who you could go to and they were so wise and so spiritually connected. It's like it's that energy also. Okay. So also notice how beautiful her gown is and how reminiscent it is of the waves of the water as well, because she is the water. Okay. And she is the only one, even with the king, right? King ain't got no cup that look like that, but she do, because this is her element. 1,000%. So she gets the beautiful decorated cup. Okay. So this is a time to actually nurture those spiritual and intuitive and loving type energies that is associated with the suit of cups. Makes sense? Water of water. 1,000% in her element. And now moving on from nurturing it, now I understand it. Now I can apply it. And not only can I understand it and apply it, I can lead others to do the same. And that's King of Cups energy. You see how this King of Cups is on this solid, looks like maybe even cement that's in this rippling water? He is someone who is very much centered in the midst of any type of chaos that is going on around him. He is a very calm type king. He is not someone who is as fiery as the King of Wands. He's not as showy as the King of Pentacles. He's not as dictator type as the King of Swords, who's just commanding everything. He's calm, cool, and collected. You can't shake this man at all. This could be a spiritual leader, could be someone who was a pastor, could be someone who had that energy about him in the family. Any of those types of energies are very much related to the King of Cups for sure. Okay. Now remember, the king is that fire element, fire of water. Fire is also as much spirit as water is. So there is also a very spiritual element to be noted with this as well. I also want you to know, and this fish is popping up at me. Remember how before this fish was in our cup and we were like, what are you here for? And why are you in my cup? Now homeboy is wearing it. And it is an emblem of his, because he understands it, right? He understands it, and he is able to tell people exactly what to do in accordance with the element that he governs. That is the King of Cups. This is a very, very patriarchal point of view. If you want to put the queen on top, by all means, make that tarot practice yours. However, traditionally, from a traditional perspective, when it comes to tarot, we are following patriarchal points of view. It is what it is. All right. He is the master of this suit. So one more time. Page, Earth of Water. We're learning it. We're curious about it, right? Or someone's delivering some messages to us about this element, okay? We're past learning it, we're applying it, and going through every bit of the aches and pains of what it looks like as we continue to discover what it means for us. We're nurturing it. So not only have we learned it, not only have we applied it, but now I need to tweak it a little bit. Now I need to really fully understand and nurture that cups element so that I can so it's more of a part of me, if that makes sense. And then now we are moving on from nurturing it to mastering it and being calm, cool, and collected, regardless of how these waters are rolling behind us. Okay. That's all I have, y'all. That is the suit of cups. I will stick around maybe for like 5 minutes or so if y'all have questions. Again, I do my own readings, individual readings. I haven't been live on here to do readings in a while, and that might change next week. I'll see how I'm feeling. But I do offer personal readings if you would like a reading, and I only do them on Saturdays now as well. If you want more of a self-paced tarot course, I have my own course, Teach Me Tarot, in the link in my profile. If that is not an investment you want to make at this time, I also have my own book. I forgot what it's called because I made it so long ago. Empowering Your Spiritual Journey. Something along the lines. It's linked in my profile, y'all. I'm tapped out for the day. Obviously. And there's that. And I come alive and I teach it as much as possible. I will leave you with this, okay? I understand a lot of people are wondering why spiritual people are still posting in the midst of everything that is going on. However, the reason why I continue to post is that I don't want to just come on this app or any other and only see one type of content, okay? I still am very much grounded. I know what is going on around me. I acknowledge it. I see it for what it is, and I follow people that keep me informed. However, I still have a duty, a job, a purpose to do, which is helping to continue to enlighten people. And I feel like it offers us an opportunity to really lean in on our spiritual selves during this time, because ultimately that is all we have. That is all we have. And I feel like we still got work to do. Right? That is my piece on that. And I pray that I had said that in a way that is not diminishing to what is going on. However, spiritually, with all that is going on, more and more people are awakening and looking for resources to help understand that spiritual side of themselves, how they can divine for themselves, and how they can be empowered through their own spiritual journey by taking things into their own hands and doing it in the way that resonates for them. That is why I continue to post content. So follow me. I love you when you do. And I also understand if that does not align with whatever aligns with you. All right. So that's my spiel. Questions. I don't think I saw any questions. Hold on. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. I really do. I really do. Spiritual and emotional intelligence and discernment is definitely at an all-time high. Definitely have to employ those right now. How did I become a reader and more intuitive? That's a great question. So upon my own spiritual awakening, I've had quite a few of them over the past couple of years. I just kept feeling like I remember having my first tarot reading. And the whole time while she's talking to me, I don't understand what I'm hearing. I don't understand why I kept hearing it, but I kept hearing, you can do this too. Like, you see what she's doing, you can do it too. I didn't understand what my gifts were, quote unquote, at that point in time. I didn't fully understand it. I just know it was like I heard her, but the only thing that I can still remember from that is her telling me, why are you afraid? Why are you afraid to start? Why are you afraid to do it? Why are you afraid to be who you are? And then also hearing in the back of my head that would not leave me alone, you can do this too. So I got on here. I found TikTok. I started to learn and I immersed myself in tarot. I spent days like studying it. I spent time watching other tarot readers. I spent time picking what works for me and what doesn't. Found a whole lot of resources and people who helped me to actually learn it. And then in the midst of learning tarot, also helped to awaken me to my own talents and gifts, or however you want to call it, right? I am very much clairvoyant. I see very clearly. I also hear, and I think I'm also a bit claircognizant now, like where I just like know things without really understanding how I know it. That comes into play. All of my clairs come up in some way, form, some shape or form, but mostly for me it's clairvoyance. If you see me look over here like that, it's usually because like that's the direction that I look whenever I start seeing things. So there's nothing over there but a treadmill. But long story short, that is how I found it. And then I just became more intuitively inclined when I learned how to trust it. Your intuition is always there. It never leaves you. And some people think that the voice gets louder, but I would argue that it doesn't get louder. We just start to match the frequency and it becomes clearer to us what our intuition feels like, what it looks like, how it resonates for us. My intuition is very quiet. If something is very, very loud for me, it's calling my attention to it. But typically I need to take a step back. I'm also a generator in human design. I need to take a step back for a minute and analyze and assess what's going on, maybe even sleep on it to be more grounded in my approach if I have the luxury of time on my side to do so. But oftentimes for me, my intuition comes in very quiet. It is the most, and it's like one time. And then if I'm tuned into it, I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? And that helps for readings for sure. Grounding and meditation. You will hear it 1,000 times over, especially from my page. If you are not meditating, take this as your cue to find a way to meditate that works for you. Okay? So meditation is, you can sit in stillness. I am someone who likes to be still. I am someone who likes to be in quiet and just meditate. Sometimes guided, hey Irving, hey beautiful. Sometimes guided meditations are great. But me, I like quiet. I don't like hearing nothing. Okay. That is the best way that I meditate. Some people can walk and meditate. Some people meditate while they're driving, especially if it's a familiar location. Even though I don't condone that, some people do get spiritual messages in that way as well. Washing dishes or scribbling or doing something that can turn your conscious off for a second or focus it in a different direction so that you can tune into your intuitive abilities. Okay. Listening to frequencies can put people in a meditative state, or binaural beats or music in general. You can get a lot of intuitive messages and downloads from your favorite songs or songs that come on the radio. Things like that. So there's multiple ways for you to meditate. Find a way that works for you, but it is so important right now. So important for us to be self-aware, to be grounded, and to get to a place where we can turn off the noise that is around us so we can tune into what we know, crown what we know, and not be so moved by everything else that is happening around us. It's one thing to observe it. It's one thing to be informed, and it is another thing to harvest the fear, anxiety, and depression that can come from that state because you don't know who you are. There is a difference, and that's why I posted the video that I posted today. Was for you to say, use that very small phrase as a prayer that you say before you get here on social media so that you can observe and be cognizant of what is going on around you, but also not invoke those low vibrational spirits of anxiety, fear, and depression within us that leads us to making decisions that aren't best for us. Okay? Know that everywhere you go, you have everything that you need. Everywhere I go, I have everything I need. It does not mean that I am untouched. It does not mean that I am not susceptible to the environment that is around me in the worst ways. It does not mean that. But ultimately, those decisions of what happens around me, everything that I don't have any control over, I am grounded and rooted in who I am. And you cannot move me. I don't care what you take away from me. I don't care what you try to throw at me. I don't care what you try to make me think, or what you think is the way and it's going to scare me or shake me or make me any less of who I am. I know who I am. And I know that everywhere I go, I have everything that I need. I lack nothing. I want for nothing. I am abundantly and prosperously provided for every time I am walking in my purpose, when I am authentically myself. That is who I am. Again, it does not make me removed from the effects of everything that is going on outside of me. But the only thing that I can control is my response to it. That's it. And that is my only concern. It is a very human response to be affected by it. Very human. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm never moved by it. My heart aches for the lives that have been lost, for the things that people have lost and so forth. Absolutely. Very compassionate and empathetic in that way. But the only thing that I control is me and my reaction and my responses to it. I do not walk in fear. Fear does not serve me. That's it. And it takes practice. And sometimes it's not linear, right? It's not like one day I say this thing and then I just get it and it's forever like that. No. Healing is not linear at all. Sometimes my human experience starts, my humanness, my humanity comes in. I recognize it for what it is. I don't down myself for it. I don't prosecute myself for it. I don't punish myself for that. But I acknowledge it for what it is. I come back to self, and that's all I got. That's all and I learn it every single day. And as much as Spirit enlightens me to, I give it to y'all. Because it does me no good to hold all this knowledge and hold all of this tarot, everything. It does me no good to keep it here when when Spirit's intention was to be a light, to be a healer, to help other people to see it as well. Just as people have done for me. Just as people have shared their light for me to step into my power, whether that was their intention to or not, whether they had good intentions or not, it led me to be where I am. And I'm forever grateful for every interaction, for every relationship, for every place and circumstance and situation that has led me to here, because it has taught me something. I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent right now. But if you don't remember a thing I said about tarot today, I hope that you are picking up on this. Every single morning when you get up, before you pick up your phone, before you check in with everybody else and start those anxious thoughts of, okay, I got this and this and this, and I got a million things to do, and what am I going to, before you even go there, show some gratitude. Show some gratitude for your spirits and your ancestors for keeping you safe in your travels while you slept and bringing you back safely to the present. That's it. And whatever happens after that is whatever happens. I am only concerned with the present moment, because that is all that exists. Tomorrow does not exist. Yesterday does not exist. Because by the time it's tomorrow, it's today. Does that make sense? Every moment. I want you to notice the difference in how your day goes when you wake up in gratitude, when you take a moment to meditate first thing in the morning, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's 2 minutes, to just center yourself and wake up in gratitude and walk in gratitude. Call your power back from social media, from places that have had the intention of siphoning your energy and putting you in a state of fear. Call your power back to you. Call your power back to yourself. Cleanse, unharmed, unscathed, revitalized, rejuvenated energy, and return everybody else's back to them. That's it. Y'all got it. Questions? I'm here to learn. And as I learn, I throw it out to y'all. Take what resonates, leave what don't. And then I continue the process every single day. Every single day is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself. All right, y'all. Well, and there's 22 people in here too on 22. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and head off here. I pray that you all are well and that you have the most abundant, prosperous, beautiful, joy-filled, loving week ahead. Do something nice for yourself. And then if you have the opportunity to, do something nice for somebody else. Let's restore the love and joy and peace back into this world, back into this vibration right here, right now. What you do matters. Even though you are one aspect of it, you are one more aspect than what once was. Be intentional about that this week. Do something nice for somebody. And then on Friday, when it's Venus Day, do something beautiful for yourself. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair done. Go do something beautiful for yourself. All right? So I may be able to upload. I'm still, y'all, please be patient with me. I have so many moving parts right now. I'm trying to go ahead and get my YouTube set up. And that is a place where I will be diverting my talents to very soon. As soon as I have the time to actually build this thing out, YouTube is where I will be going so I can save those videos there as well. Next Sunday, we will be going over the Suit of Swords. It is my least favorite suit because it's so mental heavy. But there's still a lot of beautiful lessons to learn from Source too. So that is what we will be doing next week at 5 p.m. Eastern, God willing. All right. I love y'all. Stay safe, drink some water, eat some good food, and I will see y'all next week. All right. Bye, y'all.